How do you actually create the sound for your horror game? Today I'm going to show you what is my personal workflow to make a professional and most importantly, terrifying sound design. Whether you are developing your own horror game or you are just curious about what happens during the development of a horror game, this video is for you. But before we touch the files, we have to understand two important things about the sound design. The difference between diegetic and non-diegetic sounds. Ask yourself one simple question. If I were inside the game, would I hear the sound? If the answer is yes, this is a diegetic sound, like footsteps, sound inside the room, music from a stereo, something like this. But if the answer is no, we are talking about a non-diegetic sound. For example, soundtracks, or during the navigation into the menu. A great game doesn't just pick one, it blends them into a sonic cocktail that makes the player feel physically and emotionally trapped in the story. Let's put theory into practice. Take a look at this environment in Mistbound, our game. Right now, it's silent. It looks okay, but it doesn't feel scary yet. This is a long, dark tunnel. Visually, there's no much to hook the player, which is exactly why the audio has to do the heavy lifting. We need to fill this void with the sounds that keep the player's brain on high alert. I usually start by searching high-quality raw samples from sites like Pixabay. But remember, a single sound is never enough. You need layers. For this tunnel, I'm layering three specific elements. The dominant environment. Crisp, heavy water flowing right at your feet. In this part of the game, you actually walk directly through this water, so it has to be the most predominant sound in the mix. It needs to feel very close. The bass, a low-frequency wind draft. Since the water takes up so much space, the wind just sits quietly under the net to simulate the breath of the cave without overpowering the mix. The details. Sharp, occasional sounds like single water drop echoing or a pebble shifting to break the monotony and spike the player's sensitivity. Now let's move to Audacity. To make those sounds work in a loop, I use a crossfade technique. I overlap the end of the track with the start to ensure the player never hears the cut. Since the water is right at our feet, I keep those frequencies sharp and clear. Instead, I apply a low-pass filter to the ambient wind and the distant details. The contrast between the crisp water nearby and the muffled echoes far away immediately makes the space feel claustrophobic and real. Now for the secret weapon. Have you heard about the Lavender Town syndrome in Pokemon? It used the power of binaural frequencies. By slightly offsetting the frequencies between the left and the right channels, we can create what I call a ghost sound. Here's a quick pro tip to spot if a game or a video is using this technique. If you hit pause right in the middle of the audio and you hear a faint click or a popping sound, that's your speaker suddenly cutting off the phase-shifted wave. Technically, the magic doesn't happen in the ears, it happens in the brain. This frequency beat makes your head resonate like a speaker cabinet. It's not a sound that you just hear, it's a sound you feel inside your skull. I use this specific schema to trigger feelings of alertness and hidden danger. The goal here was to create a liminal space vibe, an area that prepares the player for the horror that is about to come. Combined with the claustrophobic visual, we have created the perfect state of tension. Let's see the final result. Now I just have to do this for every other single area in the game.
Easy, right? Sound design is what truly brings a world to life. If you found this workflow helpful or you are interested in the development of Mistbound, make sure to subscribe. I'm going back to Dev Shack. See you in the next one.